Good morning, friends. Hello. Start ಆಯ್ತು ಮೇಡಮ್ ಈಗ. ಮೇಡಮ್ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬರೋಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಏನಾಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. Hello, friends. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Good morning. Sorry, good afternoon.
Sir,
Good.
Good morning, sir.
good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon to you all. Am I audible clearly?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Done. Shall we start now?
Yes, sir.
That's great.
Yes, sir.
Sure. One second. Last time, we have been discussing about the tokens and then operators. Am I right? So here, up to here, right? Assignment operators we have done. Arla ICBS, as I told you, arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, assignment operators. Up to this here we have done. Now ICBS, I stands for increment decrement, C stands for conditional operator, PS bitwise operators, and then special operators. We have to complete all these four operators today. All these I think we have studied in C programming. Similar thing. Done. Okay. Increment and decrement operators. Madam, mouse again. One second. Just correct me now. Is my voice clear?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, increment and decrement operators mostly used in loops such as for and while. Now, for and while are the looping statements. We'll be discussing about them later. Okay. Decision making and branching, decision making and looping. These are the two things we have to discuss later. So for and while are the decision making and looping constructs, whereas if else, nested if, okay, if else ladder, all this comes under, and one more switch, all these statements comes under decision making and branching. Okay, so now this increment and decrement operators are usually used in these looping constructs such as for while. Okay, see here there are two types. One is pre-increment decrement operators. One more, post increment and decrement. So there is a difference between pre-increment and post increment. Let's see, this is how we denote it. Plus plus one. This is pre in the sense before. Here, pre-decrement operator. Here the value of A is incremented or decremented. Or if you use plus plus, you are incrementing. If you use minus minus, you are decrementing. What you are decrementing? You are decrementing the content of A by 1. Okay, that is what here. Here the value of A is incremented or decremented by 1 and then used. Okay? So before utilization of the value of A in further evaluation, first the value of A is incremented, then that latest value will be considered for further execution or further evaluation. This is pre-increment. What about this post increment? Let's see here, A and then plus plus, post. बाद में आएगा. Here post decrement, pre increment, pre decrement, post increment, post decrement. Here what happens? Here the value of A is incremented, decremented by 1 after its usage. Here it is before, here it is after. Okay. So first the value of A is used and then the value of A is incremented. That's all. This is something about increment and decrement operators. Post increment decrement, that is prefix notation. And one more is post increment decrement, that is postfix notation. Okay. Pre in the sense before, post in the sense after. That's all. This is the meaning. So now one more operator, that is conditional operator here. Conditional operator. This is also called as the ternary operator. So it is also called as what? A ternary operator. It is a character pair of question mark and colon. Okay, two characters, they go hand in hand together. That is question mark and colon. So by considering a simple example, you'll understand. So this is one more special operator comes in C hash, that is conditional operator. And this operator is also available in C program. I don't know whether it is available in Java or not, but C sharp support this conditional operator. So what is exactly conditional operator? Here, the syntax is given here. Variable is at the left hand side, and then equal to symbol is put here, and then conditional expression. Conditional expression. Expression in the sense a combination of operands. Operands is any value. 10 plus 2. So 10 and 2 are the operands, whereas plus is an operator. So all together we call it as an expression because we have to do some activities. 10 plus 2, they have to be added. That is what my activity. I have to add them. So we have to evaluate that. So and after evaluation, it reduces to a single value, 10 plus 2. After you evaluate, the value reduces to what? 12. And that 12, uh, 10 plus 2 is not a conditional expression here. Therefore, here I have to use a conditional expression. A is less than B. It is a conditional operator. Okay, you are going to relate it here. A is less than B, whether it is true or false. That is the conditional expression here. So this expression and then question mark and then expression number 2, it might be a value or it might be an expression, and then colon and then one more expression, some value or it might be expression here. Because if you evaluate expression, you'll find out you end up with one answer. That's all. So expression 1 is evaluated first. What happens here? This is evaluated, executed first. And then it may be a true or false because it is a conditional expression. That's very important. You are not assigning it. It's a conditional expression. A is less than B and B is less than A. Although you can combine together. So expression 1 is evaluated first. If it is true, then the value of expression 2 is assigned to the variable. Okay. If this condition is true, this value is going to be assigned to this left hand side value, that is variable. If this condition is false, this value expression 3 value is going to be assigned to this variable. That's all we have. So one example, C sharp statement to check bigger number. So this is an example here. So in small code I have written here to just check which is bigger, either A is big or B. I'm going to test. Okay, if A is big, I'm going to assign that value to X. If B is big, then I'm going to assign that bigger value to this X here. So X is going to hold a bigger value among two. Okay, so this is a simple logic I use here. If A is greater than B, it is a conditional expression. Okay, it may be true or false depending on the values of A and B. If A is 10, B is 2, what happened? Condition is 2 here. So that time what happened? This statement is executed and this statement is skipped. So if this statement is false, okay, say for example, A is 2, then this time B is 10. The value of A and B are changed here. What happened? This condition turns to false here. So if this is false, the compiler what it will do, it is going to skip this statement and this part of this if statement is executed. So therefore, 10 is assigned to X. So this is a simple logic I use here using if statement. to check which is a bigger, and the biggest number is going to be assigned to this x variable. One more variable I use, that is x. X is holding the bigger among a and b. Whichever is bigger, that is going to be assigned to x. So instead of writing this code here around 4 to 5 lines, so I can make use of this conditional expression here, or conditional operator. This is a simple one statement is equivalent to this 4 to 5 lines of statement here. That is how it is. As I told you, this is a conditional expression. Here it is a variable. You can check it out here. This is what the syntax. So syntax is very important here. Variable, x is a variable, equal to symbol, and then conditional expression, that is a is greater than b. Then one more question mark, and then the expression number 2, and then colon expression number 2. So this is what the conditional expression. If it is true, the value of a is going to be assigned to x. So that is what we have done this. This is over. If this conditional expression is false, what happens? The content of a is going to be assigned to x. So therefore, x is going to hold either b or b, a or b. So depending on the value of a and b. If a is greater, it is going to be assigned to x. If b is bigger, this value of b is going to be assigned to x. So this 4 lines is simply reduced to a single line. So somewhere I can make use of this in the programming. So this is a conditional operator that is also called as a pair character, that is question mark and colon. It is also called as a ternary operator. So R law ICBS, R law A arithmetic operators, R relational operators, L logical operators, A assignment operator, increment decrement of operators, conditional operators. Now BS, B in the sense bitwise operators. So I'm going to operate bitwise here. So because in computer, whatever the number you store here, that will be stored in the cells, flip-flops, okay, a single bit. So bitwise, I can do some operations here. Let's see what is that. With an example, I think I have given here. If you study this example, you can understand easily what is this logical operators and bitwise operators difference between this logical and bitwise. Let's see. Bitwise operators used for manipulation of data at bit level. Okay, 1 is a bit, 0 is also a bit. And this may not be applied for floating point data. So this bitwise operators will not work for floating point, only it works for digital, integer type, or maybe sometime character, but usually bitwise operators are used for integer data type values. So what are those? Let's check it out. Operator, single AND here, that is bitwise logical AND. Single pipeline symbol. This is symbol used for bitwise logical OR. This is caret symbol. Caret symbol, it is for bitwise logical XOR. This is for tilde symbol. This is ones complement, tilde symbol. These two consecutive successive less than symbols is going to act as shift left side. So I can shift the number of digits to left side. This is again arrow mark, two consecutive successive greater than symbols will act as one shift right or right shift. Okay. So now here only one and symbol, only one or symbol is used here. So whereas here in logical operators, two consecutive successive and symbols. This is logical and, whereas that is bitwise and. This is logical or, that is bitwise or. This is not available there. That is complement. Logical not in the sense, that is complement here we use. Tilde symbol, as I told you. This is what and okay. Not. It is acting as a not here. Complement. If one, I just complement it. Let's see what is this bitwise logical and with this example. Am I right? Very simple. If 15 is stored in one cell, okay, you can write in your piece of paper if you have time that 1 on the top, in the same line, next line. What happened here? Next line, beneath to that, you write 0, 0, 1, and then if you do and, what happened? One, this bit and this bit, okay, least significant bits of 15 and least significant bit of 3. Okay, this 15 is equivalent to this binary equivalent. Am I correct? So this 3 is also converted into binary equivalent to 3 here. Conversion, I think you have studied conversion from decimal to binary, decimal to octal, decimal to hexadecimal, and vice versa. You have studied it here in your first year, I think, fundamentals of computer. Same way here, this the decimal number is converted into binary form because all the characters, all the data is always stored in the computer in the form of binary. Therefore, in order to understand that, I have just converted it here. 15 is converted into 1111 and then 3 is converted to 0011. So now how this AND, what is this AND is? This bitwise AND, logical AND. So this one and this one, you simply do logical AND here. DMS tag ಮಾಡಿದೆ ನೋಡ್ರಿ 1 and 1. What happened? It gives what? 1. Okay. And gate or gate. Truth table, I think you have studied. Truth tables. So in the truth table, you get that 1 and 1 is what? 1. The answer is 1. It is and here. And this is usually multiplication we do. 1 into 1 is 1 only. Multiplication. Remember, and is for multiplication. Just multiply. 1 into 1 is what? 1 here. Similarly, this bit, bitwise, this bit, and this, the bit which is present at the 10th position. Okay, this is 1 into 1 is again 1. Now this bit, third bit from right hand side, this bit and this bit are done with logical AND here, multiplication. 1 into 0 is what? 0. This is the answer. Similarly, the last most significant bit of 15, that is 1, and the most significant bit of this 3 is 0. 1 into 0 is what? 0. So this is what the answer after doing bitwise logical AND. Bitwise you are doing here. That's all. The result I have written in decimal, that is 3. Similarly, bitwise or in the sense you are going to add it here. Okay. But addition in this is 1 plus 1, 2 angula. 1 or 1 it is. I call it as 1 or 1. We always go what? 1 here. 0 or 0 will go what? 0. Okay. And 1 or 0 is again 1. And 1 plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 0 is 0. 1 plus 1 is 1. Not 2 here because 2 doesn't occur here in binary number. 1 or 1 it is. 1 plus 1 is 1 or 1. So therefore, 15 and bitwise logical 1 pipeline symbol and then fine. What is the meaning of that? Convert that 15 into 1 equivalent and then the logical or operator, special operator, that is bitwise operator. I place it here in between and then I write it on the top, and the next similar this line I can write it here down. Then easily can do 1 or 1, that is 1 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is what? Again 1. And this 1 and this 0. 1 or 0 is 1 only. Okay. Adding or multiplying, adding here 1 or 1 is 1. Similarly, 1 or 0 is 1. This is the answer. 15. That's all. So this is how bitwise I can do some operations. Similarly, one more thing. Bitwise logical XOR, exclusive OR it is. What happened in exclusive OR? So odd number of ones will always give 1, remember. 2 ones are there. 1 XOR 1. What happened? 1 and 1, there are 2 ones, there are 0 it is answer. 0 XOR 1. What happened? 1 is available in odd number of times. Only one time it is there. Therefore, result is 1. If I have 1 XOR 1 XOR 1, what happens? All 3 ones are there. So 3 ones in the sense 3 number of times it is occurring. Therefore, it is 1. In remaining all even number of ones, if I have 1 XOR 1 XOR 1 XOR 1, 4 times, what happens? So number of times 1 occurring 4 times. So therefore 4 is even or odd? Even. If it is even number of times 1 occurring, then the result is 0. That is what the funda I use here, but I have only 2 values. 1 XOR 1. So 1 is occurring 2 number of times. So 2 is even number. If it is even, the result is 0. Similarly, second, this one. So 1 is occurring 2 number of times. So 2 is even. If it is even, I write 0 here. Similarly, 1 is here. 0 is here, 1 XOR 1. So 1 is occurring how many times? One number of times. 1 is odd or even? Odd. Odd, then it is going to go as what? 1 here. Therefore, finally, last most significant 1 or XOR 0, what happened? So 1 is occurring only odd number of times. Therefore, if it is odd, it fetches out what? True value, that is 1. So if I convert this 11100, it gives me what? 12 answer. So this is how bitwise logical XOR works here. Guys, are you there or not? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ಹುಡುಗರು ಅದಾರಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತಾರ ನೋಡ್ರಪ್ಪ, ಏನೋ ಆವಾಜ್ ಬರಕತ್ತೈತಿ ಹಿಂದ. ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಏನ್ರ ಮಾಡ್ರಪ್ಪ, ನಮ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ, ನಿಮ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ರಿ. ಏನ್ರ ಮಾಡಿ ಒಟ್ಟು ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಕಲ್ತ ಸ್ಕೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಪ್ಪ. ಡು ಯು ಅಗ್ರಿ? ಹಲೋ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾರು ಹುಡುಗರು ಯಾರದಾರಪ್ಪ ಇಲ್ಲಿ? ಸರಿ, ಭಾವನಾ, ಭಾರತಿ, ಗ್ಯಾಲಕ್ಸಿ, ಗಾಯತ್ರಿ, ಮೋಟೋ, ಭೀಮಾ, ಇಬ್ರು ಬರೀ ಪೂಜಾ, ಪಲ್ಲವಿ, ಪ್ರೀತಿ, ಬರೀ ಹುಡುಗಿಯರದಾರಲ್ಲ ಮರೆ. ಸಂಪ್ರೀತ, ಶಿವ ಒಬ್ಬ ನೋಡಿ. ಇದು ಶಿವನೋ ಏನು ಶಿವವೋ ಯಾರು ಗೊತ್ತು. ಶುದ್ಧಾದ, ಶುಭಾಂಗಿ, ಸೌಮ್ಯ, ಯೋಗಿತಾ, ಹುಡುಗರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರ್ಲ. ಅವು ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿದಾವ ತಿರುಗಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರಿಗ. ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮಂಗ ಇರುತ್ತೂರ್ಪ. ದಾದಾ done. Guys, okay, now we'll see what is this bitwise one's complement. So one's complement is this, only it is applicable to one number. So only one number can be complemented, that's all. If it is 1, I convert it to 0. If it is 0, I convert it to 1, that's all. Or replace it. Say for example, 10 is here, 10 equivalent of 10 is 1010. Am I right? Hello, guys.
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. So therefore, here 1 is replaced with 0. Finish. 0 is here. This is replaced with 1 here. 1 is replaced with what? 0. 0 is replaced with a 1. So ultimately, complement. In this sense, instead of 1, I write 0, and 1 is replaced by 0, 0 is replaced by 1. That's all. So this result answer of 10 is converted into 5 here. Like that. Let's see what is this shift left bitwise. Okay. So 15 is the number, and the equivalent of 15 is 1111. Left shift by 2 bits. So 2 is the number of times the content of 15 is going to be shifted, left side towards this side, left side. So therefore, if I do that, 111. So this one most significant bit will be shifted to this side. Okay? That is left side. This side, mark you can see, this side is shifted. So if it is shifted, what happens? These 3 values will be shifted towards left side. And then the most significant bit will be what? 0. Similarly, this one more one is also being shifted. Therefore, these shifted, and then the answer is something like this here. You can see here. Initially, everything is 0, 0, 0 I have considered. Then 1, 1, 1. This has been shifted to 2 lines. You can see 2 positions it is being shifted. And this most significant will be automatically appended to 0. These are automatically appended with what? 0. So ultimately, if I shift these 2 number of times, this is the answer you get. The answer is how much? 0. You can check it out. Similarly, shift right, this side. I'm going to shift the values towards right hand side. So 15, content of 15 is shifted right side by two number. I can write it 3, I can write it 4. If you write 4 times, it is all 4 bits will be shifted. Okay, for simplicity, I will just use here 1. You can use 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So 1, 1, if I shift this here, so this one, this least bit will be shifted, and then here 1 0 is appended. One more, this bit is shifted, then one more 0 is appended here. So now I end up with what? 0 0 1 1. So the answer is 3. So if you simply just take a piece of paper and you can just try practicing, you will understand. Unless and until you do practically, you may not be confident. Yeah, just it takes hardly 30 seconds, but you have to do it here. Unless and until you do it here, we cannot do everything for you. It is your now duty to just make a piece of paper and just with a pencil take 1 or 2 examples and then try to shift and see the result. And you can write a program for that. Then verify. C program you can write here. Left shift, right shift, for that, making use of those symbols. And then you can verify the answer with your practical answer and the programmed output answer. You can test it here. You should do that all. Okay. If you are passionate about programming, most of the students are not showing interest in writing programs and building their logical skills. But now it is your duty and turn to have some passion in it. Okay. You take any field, you got to be crazy enough, you got to be passionate. Otherwise, you cannot shine. Just for the sake of doing it, if you start doing it here, you won't find fun and fruits later. Am I right, guys? Hello. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Am I audible, right?
Yes, sir.
Is it
Sir.
clear? Is it clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. Any doubts you have?
No, sir.
That's great. You are all very brilliant. Okay. Now, the last operator, OR-law ICBS, arithmetic operators, relational operators, logical operators, assignment operators, increment, decrement operators, conditional operators, bitwise operators, and then finally, OR-law ICBS. Yes is what? Spatial operators. So these operators we use very rarely. Very rarely we probably use these things here. One is relational operator, the other is as. Type of operator, size, we use this size of operator generally. Size, new, and this dot operator for member access. So the last three, I think, special operators we generally use in regular practice. So this is all about your operators. It is there in your syllabus. Therefore, I have made one document here. So this document, if you take print out and if you keep it with you, that is sufficient. Okay, first unit document I think I have shared in WhatsApp as well as in Google Classroom. You can take a printout of the hardly it is 3 to 4 pages. That's all. So if you do that thoroughly, finish. You get around 17, 18 marks. And this unit, I think 14 pages are there. Another hardly 10 pages of printouts. That's all. 2 units. C# is over. Passing aito. Okay. Now let's see what is this variable. Continue with this variable. So variable are the names of the storage location. Okay. Int A, comma B. So A and B are the names given to the RAM locations. Okay. Every location of RAM is identified by hexadecimal number. But as a programmer, you cannot manipulate with hexadecimal. You're not familiar. So therefore, instead of that hexadecimal number, program it supports giving them saying identifier names. So variables. So now we have seen identifiers same way here. It is right to identify the memory locations, names given to storage locations. A variable must be declared before it is used. Okay. Before you use it here, you have to declare it here. Otherwise, you cannot make use of that. You end up with an error. Am I right? The next statement. A variable can be used to store a value of any data type. Okay. Int A, I can store integer value in that. I cannot store float or character data type. Okay. Therefore, the general form of declaration of variable. Okay. So I write a type here. It may be integer, float, character. We will be discussing about the data types in C# later in subsequent classes here. Data types and their length, how many bytes it is going to consume. What is the default value in it? What is the range of values it can carry hold? All these things we'll be discussing later. All right. So therefore, learning is an endless process. So step by step, you have to learn. And after learning everything, you have to come back once again. You have to start from beginning. Then you will find fun. Okay, initially you'll find what headache, confusion. So while in the initial stages here, you should not be confused. You have to keep on listening, enjoying. That's all. जितना होता है उतना समझ के लेने के बाद में एक बार खत्म होने के बाद you turn back and start from beginning, you find fun and entertaining and very easy. Then you gain confidence. So this is learning tactics. You go in any field. Initially, you find some headache. Later on, after doing some ups and downs, then you can come back and enjoy. Similarly, here it is a type. Okay, I write a keyword here, which is float, char, string, so like that. Then variables I can write here. A, okay, any valid name. I have to follow the rules. And then variable, next variable. And this variable, these two variables are separated by a comma here. This is the syntax I write clearly, and then again it goes up to n here. Then you have to terminate with semicolon. Finish. This is the syntax. Variables are separated by commas, and the statement must be end with a semicolon. Done. So declaration does three things. What this declaration will do? It tells the compiler about the variable name. Sorry. It tells the compiler about the variable name. Okay, it is a variable name. A is a variable name. B is one more variable name. Num10 is one more variable name. So all these names and that is given to compiler. So compiler will identify the location by these names. It specifies what type of data the variable will hold. Here, this type, it gives an idea to compiler that A is going to hold this type of variable. B is also going to hold this type of variable. So this is an information. It specifies what type of data that variable is going to hold. And then this third point, let's see, the place of declaration in the program decides the scope of the variable. Okay, scope of the variable. So declaration of variable may be within the class or inside the function or in between class and function or in the parenthesis of a method, or it may be a static variable. So now the place where that variable is declared, it decides the scope of the variable. Scope in the sense up to which area it is available. And after that, end of that area, whether it is available or not. So that is the area where the variable can be alive. Otherwise, it dies, it expires. So now about the scope, we'll discuss in the next class. We'll be discussing in detail types of variables. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮುಂದೆ ಐತಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹುಶಃ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಐತಿ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ದೂರ ಐತಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ this is what scope of the variable. We'll be discussing in this exam. So now you need not to worry here. After learning here, all these things up to here, you will understand scope of the variable. So now time being, I think no need to much worry here. ಯಾವ್ದು ತಿಳಿಯೋದು ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ನಿಲ್ಲೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗಿ ಹಿಂದೆ ಬರೋದು. Therefore, here these are the three things. ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ನಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಬರ್ತೀನಿ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಧ ತಾಸು. Okay, guys, now how to initialize variable? Very simple fundamental things here. Okay, if you read once, or you no need to read it all once. So listen it here, finish. That's all. Initialization of variable. How can we do initialization for variable? First you have to declare, then you have to initialize. A variable must be given a value after it has been declared, but before it is used in the program. Before you use it here, you have to initialize that. Declare, initialize, then use. Okay. Then ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು, ನಾವು ಮೊದಲು ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಇನಿಷಿಯಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಯು ಆರ್ ಅಲೌಡ್ ಟು ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಹಿಯರ್. Simply you cannot use it here before it is initialized or declaration. ಎದ್ದು ಕೂಡಲೇ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಆಡಕ್ ಹೋಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಆಡೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ನಾವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ಗಿಂತ ಮೊದಲು ಮತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ ಚೆಂಡ್ರಿ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಪ್ ಕ್ರಿಕೆಟ್ ಆಡಕ್ಕೆ ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಚೆಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಗಾಳಿ ಆಡೋದು ಹಿಂಗಾಗ್ತೈತಿ. ಸೇಮ್ ವೇ variable must be given a value after it has been declared, but before it is used in the expression. Simple method. Let's see here. This is how the simple method to initialize. This is the value. Value may be 10, 20, C. Okay. This we call it as a string. Anything it is. That is assigned to the variable which is declared. Example. Float X, Y, Z. So declaration is done. Am I right? This is how I declare. Declare in the sense X, Y, Z. So these memory locations I want in my program, and in this X and Y I am going to store only float numbers. So I declare it here. I surrender myself in the program that X, Y, Z are 3 variables locations I want from your RAM. I'm telling the computer that I require 3 locations to perform my job. I do have some big job, that is addition of 3 numbers. ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ಗಳನ್ನ. ಆ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೆಲಸ ನಾನು ಹೊತ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. 3 ನಂಬರ್ನ ನಾನು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಆ್ಯಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಫ್ಲೋಟಿಂಗ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಐ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು tell to the compiler that I require 3 memory locations, and in all those locations I am going to store only float number. What is the warning to the compiler? So this is the command and declares 3 variables. Done. It is compound declaration. So it is compound declaration. You can write float X semicolon and next line float Y semicolon next float Z. Instead of 3 lines here, I can write it here in a single line. That's all. That is a compound declaration. Finish. And then after declaration, I am going to initialize. As I told you, X is holding 10, Y is holding 20%, just something like that. Initialize. Then after declaration, initialization, then you can use for evaluation. I can do A is equal to X plus Y plus Z. Okay, I can do some operation. Unless and until it is declared and used, I mean initialized, I cannot use it here. That's as simple as that. One more way, it is possible to assign a value to a variable at the time of declaration. So now I just write a type here, it may be int, float, whatever, then name of the valid name, identifier, and then equal to value. So at a stretch, both declaration and initialization can be done. Dynamic initialization. Example, int m is equal to 5 and n is equal to 10. Both declaration, m is integer and it is assigned to 5. N is declared as integer, it is assigned to 10. Declares and initialization too. So these are the only 2 variables where I can declare and initialize. Done. Now what are the default values? A variable is either explicitly assigned a value or automatically assigned a default value. So if I declare int a, that's all. Int a, semicolon, finish. The thing is initialized. What happens? It is going to hold some default values. So what are those default values here? So you need not to remember all these things here. You have to have an idea. So if I write int a comma b semicolon, so a and b holding what? This is by default. I don't initialize anything, but yet a default value by the compiler is 0 for all the integers. Similarly, character, if I declare by default in that location, this character, the special character is stored. Similarly, if it is a float data type, 0.0f, a common default value is stored in all the locations of variables of float type. So like that, double one more here, 0.0, all these data types here. We'll be discussing what is a char, what is a float, what is an integer, what is double type, what is bool type. We'll be discussing shortly all these data types because it is there in the syllabus. So learning programming insists all these basics you have to learn first. And then remaining things slightly vary here. If you be strong in C programming, that's how learning other languages is always as simple as you cannot expect. So easy it would be. Okay. So if it is a bool type, if the bool data type, the default value is false. All reference types is null here. Okay, reference type and everything will be discussed. And no need to remember all these blocks here. Okay, at least you remember integer variables are assigned to 0 and the float types are assigned to 0.0f. Okay. Double type are initialized to 0.0d and the bool type assigned to false. False. 1, 2, 3 and 4. I try to remember. Again, remember ಮಾಡೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ತಲೆಗೆ ಬಿದ್ದು ಉಳಿತು ನನಗೀಗ. Not required. ಅಲ್ಲೇನು ನಾವು ತಲೆ ಕೆಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ಅವಶ್ಯಕತೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಬಟ್ ಆರಾಮಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು ನಾವು. Done. What is this constant variable? So the variable whose value will not change during the program execution. You cannot change them. Constant. I just keep it here for security. So constant variable, what does it mean? The variables whose values do not change during the execution of program are known as constants. Let us see int a. If I write int a is equal to 10, and next in the program I can write a is equal to a plus 10. I can write a is int a is equal to 10. Next line I write a is equal to a plus 10. I can do. Now what is the latest value of a? Previous value is here 10. 10 plus 10 is now the latest value is 20. So I can add, I can decrement. Because that variable int a is not a constant variable. It is allowed to be changed during the program. I can change it here. Whereas one more special variable available, that is const, const. Okay, const, the keyword I use here to declare the constant variable. And if that variable is declared as a constant, in that program you are not allowed to increment or decrement. That value is remain constant only. If you try to add some values into that constant variable, you are violating the rules of the language. Syntax is violated. Automatic compiler catch hold that error and it gives you a compilation error. Okay? Syntax error. Therefore, and these constant variables are useful in handling usually matrices. Okay. Constant variable, the variables whose value do not change during the execution of the program are known as constant variables. Such variables can be made unmodified by using const. The constant on small keyword use ಮಾಡ್ತಾನೆ. Keyword while initializing. Example. In order, int row is equal to 10. It is not a row here, but it is not an ordinary row integer type. It is a constant. Row value cannot be changed. I cannot write next line row is equal to row plus 1. I cannot do that because it is constant. I can change it here. But here in this, I can change here, but not in the program. Here I can change 10 rows, 10 because it's not a universal rule. I can write it as 2, 5, something like that. But next line here, somewhere in the program, I cannot change the value of rows here. I cannot add or decrease. That's it. Similarly, columns, it is assigned to and it is declared as constant. This keyword is preceded. That's all. One more thing, I can do it here as once expression I can use. Num is a constant type, and the content of rows should be also constant type. Columns is variable should be also constant type, which is declared. Then I can do operations. 10 plus 2 is added and then placed into. Now the value num is containing what 30. Some note I can read it here. This note, if you read it here, that's all finished. Constant must be declared and initialized simultaneously. It's very important. One 5 marks question might be asked for 2 marks question. Define constant variable and what are the rules? Okay, this rule is here. Constant must be declared and initialized simultaneously. Here, constant int rows together you have to do it here. I cannot declare it here. Const int rows semicolon. Then next line rows is equal to 10. No, you are violating the rule. Okay, learning language in the sense you have to follow the rules. Learning English, Kannada, you have to follow grammar. ವ್ಯಾಕರಣ ಬೇಕು ಯಾವುದೇ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್. ಎಷ್ಟು ನಮ್ದು ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಸರಿ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ ಅಷ್ಟು ನಮ್ದು ಏನಂತಾರಲ್ಲ ಫ್ಲೂಯೆನ್ಸಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗಿ. ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಮಾತಾಡಬೇಕು ಹೈಫೈ ಸ್ಟೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ಸ್ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ಯಾವುದೋ. ಐ ಗೋಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಹೋಯ್ತು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್. ಐ ಗೋ, ಹಿ ಗೋ ಹೋಯ್ತು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್. ಡಮ್ ಅಂತ ಫೇಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲ. he goes. ಮುಗೀತು ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಇದೆ ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋಸಾ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಗೋಸ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್. he have ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮುಗಿತೆ. he has. this is grammar. ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಗೊತ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕು. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಸ್ ಇದು ಗೊತ್ತಿರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಮುಗಿದಿರ್ತೈತೆ ಅವ್ರು. ವೇಸ್ಟ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸುಟ್ಯಾಗೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಮನ್ಯಾಗ ಇರ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು. ನಾವು 10 ದಿವಸ ತಗೋತೀವಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ತೆಲಿಗೆ ಮ್ಯಾಚೂರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು. 10 days it takes. That's all. You will be master in grammar. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆಲ್ಲ ಕಲ್ಸಾಗ ಬೆಲ್ಯಾಗನೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಪೊಕಟ್ ಒಂದು 8 ದಿವಸ ಕಲಿಸ್ರಿ. ಒಂದು 15-20 ದಿವಸ ಒಂದು ತಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾಳೆ ರೊಕ್ಕ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಕಲಿತಾರೆ ಗ್ರಾಮರ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ನೌಕರಿ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗಿ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿಗೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ನಾ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಆಜು ಬಾಜು ಹುಡುಗರು ಕಲ್ಕೊಂಡು 4 ಕಲಿಸಿ 70 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಗಾಳಿ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರು ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಲೈಫ್. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ಲರ್ನ್ ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ and teach it to others. And in return it follows. ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಏನೋ ಸಿಗ್ತೈತೆ ನಮಗೆ, ಸಿಗೋದ ಅಪೇಕ್ಷೆ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. Do it here for society, for others. That should be ambition. Automatically things will follow you. You should not follow the things. Remember, this is my lesson. You should not run behind any things in life. You have to be deserved. काबिल बनो. हाँ, मैंने आपको पहले भी बोला. Okay. ಫಿಲಾಸಫಿ ಬಾ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೇನೆ ನಾನು. ಮಂದಿಗಳು ಅಟ್ಟ ನಾವೇನು ಫಾಲೋ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಅವ್ರ ನಿಮ್ಮಂಗೆ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳಕತ್ತಿರಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ. ಹಲೋ
ಸರ್.
ಕೇಳಿಸ್ಕೋರಿ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗಾಡಿ ರೈಲ್ವೆ ಹಳಿ ಹಿಡಿದು ಹೋಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಳಿ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಚಿಕ್ಕು ಬುಕ್ಕು ಕೂ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋತ ಎಲ್ಲೋ ಗಟ್ರ ಹೋಗಿ ತೆಗಿನಾಗ ಬಿದ್ದಿರ್ತೈತಿ. ನಮ್ದೊಂದು ಬಡ್ಡಿಯಿಂದ ಒಂದು ಚಟ ಆಯ್ತದೆ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಡ್ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತ
ಆಗ್ತಿರ್ತೈತ್ರಿ ಸರ್.
ನಮ್ದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನೋ ಒಂದಿರೋ ಹುಚ್ಚುಗಳೇನೋ ಅಟ್ ಶಾನ್ಯಾನ ಅದಾನೆ. ಎರಡು ಐತಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ. ಇರ್ಲಿ, ನೀವು ನಮ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು, ನೀವು ನಮ್ಮಂಗೆ ಆಗ್ಬೇಡ್ರಿ ಮತ್ತ. Okay, next note, let us see about constant variable. That is, remember, we cannot use non-constant values in the expression. Non-constant values in the expression. This is an expression. Wherever you come across some operator and two operands here, it is an expression. It is an arithmetic expression. Okay. If I use rows less than symbol, it is called as a relational expression. Finish. If I use some and sign symbol, two and symbol, it is logical expression. If I put one single and here, it is bitwise logical and operation expression. So like that, it is an expression. So now we cannot use non-constant values in the expression. Non-constant in the sense, this is a constant because it is declared. This is also a constant value because it is declared as a constant with this special keyword, that is CONST. Complete word ಬರ್ತದೆ. CONST. ಮಾಸ್ತರ್ ತಪ್ಪು ಬರ್ದ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ಮಾಡಿರಿ. ಮತ್ತ ಏನೇ ಆಗೋದೇರಿ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಕೀವರ್ಡ್. ಅದು ಹಂಗೆ ಬರಬೇಕು ನಾವು. ಹೌದಾ? ಜಗತ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಐತಿ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳೋದಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಹಂಗೆ ಇರೋದು. ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಚಂದ್ರನ ಗುಂಡ್ ಯಾಕೆ ಹಣಗದಿರಿ, ಅದನ್ನ ಚೌಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಹೌದಾ? ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಫಾಲೋ ದಟ್. ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್. ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನಾಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ನಾನ್ ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟಂಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಷನ್. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ constant variable if you are using it in the expression. It's an expression. Okay, I cannot write it rows here if it is not declared as constant. Should be. One more. After declaration of constant, they should not be assigned to any other value. As I told you, constant in the sense that value remains same. I cannot alter that. If you alter, you end up with an error. Similarly, constant cannot be declared inside a method. Method ಅಂದ್ರೆ function. ಮುಂದೆ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ. ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು, ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಕಲಿತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ಬೈ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಲರ್ನರ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಒಂದೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕಲ್ಕೊಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಎಲ್ಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕಲಿಯಕ್ಕೆ ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. 14 ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಧ ತಾಸು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್, 1 ತಾಸು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್. ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಕೊಂಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಹುಡುಗರು ಯಾವ ಕಲ್ಸೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಟ್ಟ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಕೊಂಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಹುಡುಗರು ಯಾವ ಕಲ್ಸಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹಿಂಗಾಗ್ತೈತೆ. ಈಗ ಏನೈತಿ, ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಐತಿ. ನಾವು ಆರಾಮದೀವಿ, ನೀವು ಆರಾಮದಿರಿ. 8 ದಿವಸ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ಗೆ, ತಿರ್ಗಾಡಕ್ ಬರೋದು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಏನ್ ಬಿಡೋ ಮಾಸ್ತರ್ ಏನ್ ಕೆಲಸ ಅದಾವ ತಿರ್ಗಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡೋದು. ಇದು ಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯಂದ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಇರ್ತೈತಿ. ಚಂಚಲ್ರಿ. ಮನ್ಯಾಗ ಹೋಗಿ ಮನ್ಯಾಗ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಚಲೋ, ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಒಂದು 2 ದಿವಸ ತಿರ್ಗಾಡೋದು. ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡಿ ಈ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡಿ ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಆ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಈ ಡ್ರೆಸ್ ಕೂದ್ಲ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಅದೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಂದಿಗೆ ತೋರಿಸೋದು. ಒಂದು ಮಂದಿ ಯಾವ ನೋಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೊಡಿಬೋದು. ಇದು ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಅಂದ್ರು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮೊಳಗನ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಡೋಂಟ್ ಗೋ ಔಟ್. ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇನ್ ಯು. ಫೈಂಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಔಟ್. Like that, constants cannot be declared inside method. Declared only at class level. Okay. What is class level? What is method or function level? We shall understand. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಐತದ ಆಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಅಂತ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತೈತೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಮೆಥಡ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಒಳಗೆ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಮೆಥಡ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಒಳಗೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಬರಿತಾ ಇರ್ತೇವೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ as I told you C# is 100% pure object-oriented program. Therefore, everything comes inside class. Even main function is also inside one of the class. Therefore, if a variable is declared inside the next class layer, it is class layer. If a variable declared within that body of a function, it is called as method level. Like that it is. So therefore, constants cannot be declared inside the method. It is not a variable to be declared inside a method. Rather, it is declared at the class level. That's it. Finished. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಆದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಕಾನ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ವೇರಿಯಬಲ್ ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಪಟ್ನೆ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಒಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಜಾತ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋದು ಇಷ್ಟೇ ತಿಳ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ 4 ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನ ಆಡಿಯೋ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಕೇಳ್ರಿ ಒಮ್ಮೆ ಕೇಳಿ ಬಿಡಾಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡ್ರಿ ಈಗ ಒಟ್ಟು ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗೋದೈತಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಲೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು don't try to remember everything here whatever discuss okay just listen keep on moving ಹಿಂದಿಂದ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹಾಕೋಕ್ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ತಲೆ ಔಟ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ ಏನ್ ಮಾಸ್ತರ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಅವಳಿಂದ ಅಷ್ಟ ಲೀವ್ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಹಿಂದೆ ಮರೆತು ಬಿಡು ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ನಾವು ಮತ್ತೆ ನೀವು ವಿಡಿಯೋ ನೋಡ್ಬೋದಲ್ಲ
Yes, sir.
ಹಾ
Sir.
ಈಗ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಯ್ತು ನೋಡ್ರಿ 12:40 ಮುಗಿತಿ ಅಂಬಲ್ಲ ಹಾ ಆಯ್ತು ಇದಷ್ಟು ನೋಡು ನಾವು ಮುಗಿಸೋಣ ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ 12ಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಲ್ಲ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಬಂದ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತೆ ಅಂಬಲ್ಲ ಮರ ಅದ ಎಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟೆ
12:55.
ಹೌದಾ ಇನ್ನ ನಡೆದೈತಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜಾತ್ರೆ
Time is over, sir.
ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ನೋಡಿ ಸಾಕಿಷ್ಟ ಓಕೆ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಓದಿರೋದಲ್ಲ ದೇ ಮೇಕ್ ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಈಸಿಯರ್ ಟು ರೀಡ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ದೇ ಮೇಕ್ ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಈಸಿಯರ್ ಟು ಮಾನಿಟರ್ ದೇ ಮಿನಿಮೈಸ್ so this you have to remember so certain things by reading and writing you can easily remember so therefore assignment will be given later ಇದನ್ನ ನಿಮಗೆ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ತಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ ಕಾಪಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ಔಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹಿಡಿದು ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಹಿಡಿದು ನಿಮ್ಗೊಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪೇಜ್ದಾಗ ಬರೆದ ಅಥವಾ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ವರ್ಡ್ದಾಗ ಐತ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದು ಇಲ್ಲೇ ನಾನು ಕಳಿಸಿ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೂ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗ್ತೈತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ನಂಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ತಗೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಐತಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾವು ನಿಂತು ಒದರಾಕ್ ಹಚ್ಬೇಡ್ರಪ್ಪ ದಯಮಾಡಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳದ ಮಾಸ್ತರ ತಿಳಿಯಾಗ ನಾಲ್ಕು ಕಲ್ಸಂಗಿಲ್ಲ 1 ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಓವರ್ ನೀವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ 7 ಪೇಜ್ ಐತಿ ಓದ್ರದು ತಿಳಿಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ ಬರ್ರಿ ಏನ್ರ ಮಾತಾಡ್ ನಾವು ಎಮ್ ರೈಟ್ ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ತಗೋ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾ ತಗೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ತಿಳಿತಲ್ಲ Hello. Everybody's gone, huh? Hello.
ಹಾ ಸರ್
ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ
ಮತ್ತೆ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ರೀ ಸರ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಏನ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ರಿ
ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ನಾಗ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ 2 ತಿಂಗಳಾಯ್ತು ಒಂದು 7 ಪೇಜ್ ಇತ್ತು ಹೇಳಕತ್ತೆ ಯಾವಾಗಿಂದ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಐತಿ ವಾಟ್ಸಪ್ ನಾಗ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಗೂಗಲ್
ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ರೀ 7 ಪೇಜ್
ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ 15-16 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತೈತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ ಡೌಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಡ ನನ್ನ ಮಗನಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ಡೌಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡ 100% ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡು 15-16 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಮುಗಿತು ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಏನು ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ ಅದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಡಿಗೈತಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಇವತ್ತು ಸಾಕ್ ಮಾಡೋನು ಸೌಮ್ಯ ಯಾರು ಸೌಮ್ಯ ಸೌಮ್ಯ ಯಾರಿದ್ರವ ಎಸ್ ಯಾರು ಯಾರು ಅಂತಾರ ಹುಡುಗಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಮಾಡೋನು
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
ಟೇಕ್ ಕೇರ್ ಗುಡ್ ಬೈ ಗುಡ್ ನೈಟ್ ಬಾಯ್